What's up, everybody? It's the weekend. Oh, yeah, dude. Everybody's a Fed, boys. Everybody's a Fed. I don't know if you know this. It turns out everybody's a Fed. Oh, man. So, I was talking about Nick Fuentes a lot yesterday. We did the whole reaction to him and Alex Jones having a little friendly debate. And then today, a clip comes out with Tucker Carlson going in on Nick Fuentes. He goes in on him pretty fucking hard. And it sent me down this rabbit hole, because, rabbit hole might be better. Because then Nick Fuentes is like responding to Tucker. And now they got receipts on Tucker that make it look like Tucker's lying about his dad's involvement with the CIA. And it's, at this point, they might both be fucking feds. You know, I don't know. It's possible they aren't. It's possible they are. I don't know, but let's get into it. Let's start with the Tucker Carlson clip of him talking to Candace Owens. And he went pretty hard at Tucker. I mean, at Nick. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Hello. I don't know. Hizzy says Nick was right. There's they got Tucker saying two different things about when he found out his dad was CIA. And we'll get into it. Let's just get to it. Let me pull this up. Because this is interesting. This is a good time, man. This is a good time. I love a good feud. And so it starts with Tucker. This clip came out today of Tucker talking to Candace Owens about Nick Fuentes. So let's get right to it. By the way, smash the thumbs up if you haven't. Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
Okay. Has it occurred to you that...
Welcome to the show.
I just want to say, I haven't watched a lot of Nick Fuentes in my life at all.
Okay, this clip is low as fuck. Let me turn my computer audio up.
But what I've seen, the guy's very talented. Like, just as a
smart kid, obviously.
As someone who's talked to cameras his whole life, it is very hard to sit and just like riff for 20 minutes.
It is the Spider-Man meme. It is the Spider-Man meme.
He has that skill. But I also have noticed that his targets are all people who are sincere, non-crazy, non-hateful opponents of neocon politics.
Right.
So you have to kind of wonder about that. So Nick Fuentes is like, oh, I don't like the neocons. But then his targets are J.D. Vance, Joe Kent.
I mean, come on. Let's not pretend like J.D. Vance ain't a sneaky neocon. And when I say neocon, I don't mean Jew, okay? Mark Levine. I mean a neoconservative, you dumb fuck. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, remember Tucker supposedly was one of the ones who lobbied for Vance to be the VP to Trump. So Tucker seems to have a lot of faith in Vance. I don't.
He got involved in Joe Kent's campaign with a super. Oh yes, you, me, and it's like, what is that?
Dave Smith. I asked him about that because that's a question that I had. So I did the right thing by asking him to his face, what's up with this? Like, why do you attack Dave Smith? You say that like your biggest critique is that America's being controlled by Israel. Then you have Dave Smith, who has been such a sound voice. And by the way, opposite experience with Dave Smith. I have my podcast. He's a fantastic human being.
Dave Smith is one of the nicest people
fantastic
ever.
I like Dave.
And so I judge people according to my experiences with them. And so Nick is being judged according to my experience with him.
But like, what is this?
I don't get
Where
it.
does
I don't
the funding
understand
come
it.
from? I probably shouldn't even say this, but the only reason I know who he is because someone sent me a video a few years ago of him attacking me. And I was like, so I'm looking at this. And I'm like, well, first of all, this kid's really...
Bro, I've turned it's all the way up on Twitter, right? I've turned my computer audio to 100, which is normally at 50. So I don't know how to get this any louder. It's as loud as it goes, dude. My desktop audio on OBS is all the way up as well. So it's just a low fucking clip. Tucker is like using the old TV audio standards to where like everything's like real low because they, and you know how the old, like when you watch TV, all the shows are really low and then the commercials come on really loud. Tucker's using that. He's using that old audio standard. That's why it's so fucking low compared to everything else.
Really talented, like legit. And I can assess that just having done the job for so long. So it's like, wow, lots of talent, native talent. And he's attacking my dad as a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, was involved in that world.
Okay, this is an important fact. This is an important point you need to follow here. He claims here he didn't know his father was in the CIA until his father died, which was a little while ago this year. Okay, just for reference, let's pull up the clip of that he's referring to of Nick attacking Tucker Carlson because Tucker has a family that was his family was in the CIA. Again, I'm gonna see how loud this is now that my shit's at 100.
Tucker Carlson is a CIA.
See how much louder this is? This is modern, like audio from podcasts versus the old school standard of audio that Tucker still uses, which is why it's so much quieter.
Agent. I'm getting called a Fed by someone whose dad was CIA royalty. I'm the Fed? Do you know what Fed means? Fed means federal agent. It's short for federal, meaning federal government, meaning you work for law enforcement or intelligence in the federal government. I am being called a federal agent by the son of Dick Carlson, who ran Voice of America, which is a propaganda outlet for the CIA. He was nominated by Ronald Reagan and confirmed by Congress. Dick Carlson is an international spy and diplomat who has given a speech in the Israeli Knesset, worked for the Hungarian embassy. Hungary's close allies with Israel. Tucker Carlson was in Nicaragua during Iran-Contras, during the Contras affair, which implicated Israel and the Reagan administration and the CIA, which his father worked for. Tucker Carlson applied for the CIA. Tucker Carlson followed his dad's footsteps and worked for cable news, first for CNN, then for Fox under Rupert Murdoch, who's friends with Netanyahu. And over the past year, Tucker's been conducting diplomacy, traveling to Buenos Aires, traveling to Qatar, to Saudi Arabia, all over the Middle East, doing what is effectively diplomacy on behalf of the United States, interviewing Vladimir Putin. Tucker says, he beams when he says this. He says, I grew up down the street from the CIA agent that overthrew Mossadegh, which is the president of Iran who was overthrown by the CIA.
Okay, so let's go back. This is the clip that Tucker's referring to. And Tucker says when Nick came out and said this, it made Tucker think that Nick was a Fed because how else would he have this information about his dad being in the CIA when Tucker himself didn't even know his dad was in the CIA until he died this year. I think March of this year, which we'll get into the details. I just wanted to, this is the clip that he's referring to.
That's no.
We'll go back.
This kid's really talented, like legit. And I can assess that just having done the job for so long. So it's like, wow, lots of talent, native talent. And he's attacking my dad as a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn actually, yeah, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
This was in March of this
year. This was in March. He didn't know his dad was CIA until March of this year. Okay, so just follow along because this is a very weaving narrative that weaves in and out. All right, there's a lot to this. We got to follow.
Here. And I'm like, well, how the hell would this child from Chicago, my dad was 84 when he passed. Like, who's this guy know who my dad is? And like, he's in intelligence. How would he know that? And
Wait, so that was his critique of you because I didn't see it.
Someone just sent me this video and it was like, you can't believe anything Carlson says because his father was in the CIA and he's a CIA working on behalf of the CIA. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, and I actually feel emotional in my anger towards CIA. And I think that comes out on the air quite regularly.
Right.
And so the idea that I'm working for the CIA is like deranged.
Well, if it helps, he said I'm funded by Russia now. Since the interview, he then did a thing and said I was funded by Russia.
But you would be a lot more likely to take Russian money than I would be to work for the CIA because you would never take Russian money and you're not Russian. But I mean, I really hate the CIA. And I mean, right. That's like very offensive to me. So why would you?
It's like personal for you.
Exactly what somebody working for the CIA would say. But by the way, I'm not taking a side. I don't fucking know. This is just entertaining. At the end of the day, I'm more likely to think they're both Feds now. But let's get back to it.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
And anyway, like, who is this kid exactly?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just an accident that the guy exclusively goes after people who are in roughly the same. And then he gets up there and he's like, making Holocaust jokes. And it's like, is it possible that this is like David Duke. David Duke, every time I had a new show, David Duke would endorse my show. I don't know, who the hell is David Duke? Well, David Duke is obviously part of a campaign to discredit people on the right, obviously.
Mm.
And I think it's very obvious that Nick Fuentes is exactly the same. Doesn't mean everything he says is false. It doesn't mean he's not talented. He's enormously talented. Doesn't mean he's a bad person. I'm not attacking him personally, but he is clearly part of a campaign to discredit non-crazy right voices.
I've been suspicious of that too, because I've had, all the way back in, 2018, when I was doing live streams. I've always done these live streams. I just do them a lot more regularly now. There was this group called the GDL, the Goyim Defense League. And they would go around any channel that was like, yeah, I like Trump, I support Trump. And they would go in there and just start fucking, like with 300 people in a Discord, they'd raid your channel and just turn your whole channel into a fucking Nick Fuentes channel, where it's all Jews, 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 Jews.
Wilford Brimley super chatted
What's up, Wilford?
$2. Everyone is a Fed.
It's looking that way. It's really looking that way, Wilford. Thank you for the $2. And then it turned out the guy, Handsome Truth, who was like the leader, was like an actor. And to me, I was always suspicious. Like, everybody's tried to label this America First movement as a racist Nazi movement, but it's just really not true at the heart of it. But then all of a sudden you start sending all of these actual fucking, I don't even like using the word because it's so overplayed, anti-Semitic people, racist people, to like infiltrate all these fucking America First chats. And then Nick Fuentes starts playing in it. So, I'm not saying that he is a Fed, but I've always been suspicious of that. Because to me, it ruins the message. And it's very convenient when the left is trying to go, these people are all a bunch of racist Nazis, to then point to the chat where all these people are sounding racist and Nazi in the fucking chat, and then be like, I told you so. So I wouldn't put it past, and there's like rumors that Tom Steyer, I don't know if it's true, but Tom Steyer was funding a lot of these people, these like ex-Bernie supporters. Like a lot of these people were all ex-Bernie supporters too, by the way. So it's just weird. It's just weird. So I'm always suspicious of these people that come around and want to make everything about race and about the Judaism and not about like actual real things like the corruption of our government and fucking how do we solve that? And like, how do we fix America? How do we get America back to like actually working for the people? Yada. But no, let's just talk about race and then just discredit the whole fucking movement. So yeah, I kind of get what Tucker's saying here, but he still might be a Fed.
That's obvious.
Just because you're a Fed doesn't mean you can't make good points every now and then, okay?
I've been around a long time. I know it when I see it.
Yeah, and I will say I don't understand it. We were very kind to him. Like, I truly, like, we almost said, like, we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back for dinner. That's how...
That's a low blow right there. Nick was lonely. He looked lonely. That's an attack. I think that's a little low right there, dude. How do you know he looked lonely? Did he tell you he was lonely? Was he just hanging around like a lost puppy dog, Candace?
Good of an experience I had.
Clearly it's
and then it was a 180. So it's either A, it's being driven from like a little boy insecurity, and he just was so worried that he like just went on the attack because he doesn't know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think there's that could
be one element.
The angry gay kid thing going on. Yeah.
Or it's the
He just called Nick an angry gay kid. So Tucker's up on the gay accusations.
You're saying where?
Yeah, the audio's low. It's Tucker's show. It's a clip. I can't. It's as loud as I can get it, guys. I'm sorry. So, if you can turn your shit up, because I cannot turn this up anymore. Okay.
Does this? He's lying to everybody and pretending that things are one way when it's not. I can say
testing. Yeah.
Joe Kent worked as a CIA contractor, paramilitary contractor. He's in the U.S. military for years fighting our neocon wars. And his wife was killed in Syria in one of those wars. Joe Kent is the single most sincere critic, and I would say the one with the most credibility in the United States to say this foreign policy is bad. It killed my wife. I was a part of it. Joe Kent is actually someone the CIA doesn't like at all because he understands how it operates. And for Nick Fuentes, who's like some child from Chicago who, to go after him specifically, one congressional seat in Washington State.
Okay, I don't know shit about this Kent guy, but it sounds like the narrative Tucker's trying to paint, which I don't know if it's true, is that this was a disgruntled ex-CIA guy who was now out to like fix the CIA. And who would be better to fix it than an ex-CIA guy who's disgruntled and saw all the corruption firsthand? I mean, if I believe you, Tucker, you know, he could also just still been a CIA agent. You know, he could have been a fucking COINTEL, you know, fucking, it's like, it's hard to know what's real anymore, dude. Everything's, so many games at play, you know? But that's one of the reasons that Tucker, again, thinks he's a Fed, thinks Nick's a Fed, because Nick keeps going after genuine America First people. Like J.D. Vance. Okay, that one I'm going to have to disagree with.
It's random.
It's not random, though. It's the opposite of random. Joe Kent was #1 on the list of people they wanted to knock off, people who believe in our neocon foreign policy. They wanted Joe Kent out because he could stand up and say, I actually know. I've got the receipts. My wife was killed in Syria. You had to take that guy out. And Nick Fuentes, this child, this weird little gay kid in his basement.
We need more of this, dude. I don't care who's right or who's wrong. We need more of this version of Tucker.
Man, in Chicago, is participating in a super PAC to bump off Joe Kent. Like, I've been around.
Look, and Nick's not gay, all right? Clearly he's not gay. He just you know, had a date with a cat boy. And I mean, calling it a date's not fair. They hung out, you know? It was like a date, but not an actual date. Yeah, I don't know if Nick's gay, but the whole cat boy fucking saga is a little weird. It's a little weird. And then him like, wasn't he trying to like warm up to Destiny, and you know, wasn't he friendly with Destiny for a while? And then the supposed, you know, the leaks around Destiny, which I know y'all told me that those have been discredited. They weren't real. It wasn't really Nick, but there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of red flags, man. A lot of red flags. But again, I don't fucking know. I don't know.
On this my whole life. I know what that is. It's just an organized effort.
Yeah.
And he also did the thing that David Duke always did, including to me, which is be like, oh, yeah, it's my friend. And everyone's like, oh, Tucker Carlson's been endorsed by David Duke. I've been making like the anti-racist argument my whole life.
Right.
Like, I'm not for David Duke. Do I think David Duke is right when he's against affirmative action? You bet I do. But I'm not for David Duke. But David Duke would try to discredit people by hugging them. And that's exactly what Fuentes did. He goes.
I'm not hugging Nick. Nick, get your ass away from me. If Nick Fuentes tries to hug me, I'm going to run.
Meet all these people. Shop. Hi, I'm Nick Fuentes. Can I get my picture with you?
Destiny's quite the homo. Destiny is
Wilford Brimley super chatted $2. Destiny is quite the homeowner.
I don't have anything good to say about Destiny. That guy is a fuck. He needs to stop with his Adderall addiction. I think it's rotted his brain, dude.
That's a campaign to destroy credible voices on the right. And Fuentes is part of it. And I know I'm inviting endless trouble by saying this because, you know, this is a kid with a lot of spare time, but it's just a fact. And I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
And I you can believe me or not, but I know what I'm talking about.
All right, so Tucker went in hard. Nick responded pretty quick. Again, what they're catching Tucker on is okay, well, we got a little more of Nick. So this is what I was talking about with Nick in January 6th. Why I'm suspicious of Nick, because of the January 6th shit. So here he is. Apparently, we got a longer video of Nick addressing this with Alex. So we're going to dive into this. Who's the real Fed? Who is it? Is it Nick? Is it Tucker? Is it both of them? Is it neither of them? We're going to dive in. All right, so here is some of the evidence that Nick might be a Fed. Nick Fuentes demanded his young followers take a pledge stating they will kill, grape, and die for him, which that's cringe as fuck. Again, like, if you're trying to discredit a movement, that's what you do. Right? So it's like, why? Okay. And this is the video. I'm not going to play it. This is the video. And I guess what they'll say is it's out of context. It could be. I haven't seen the full context of him saying that. But here's a clip of him saying that. So maybe it's out of context. He was role playing. That's possible. I don't know. I don't have the full context. Here's him. I will play this one on January 6th, riling everybody up. And this is what made me suspicious. When I hear him doing this, doing the fucking Ray Epps style, like, oh, we need to fucking storm the building. Oh. I'm like, oh my God. And then he doesn't ever get arrested or anything. I think he had, you know, some things he had, like his bank account was cut off and he was banned from social media, but they never pressed charges on him, right? We'll get into that in a second, but let's play the clip. Not this one. Because I don't want to play that one. That one will get me in trouble. Here we go, this clip.
Putting down the barriers and disregard the police should live in fear of the American people.
Break down the barriers and disregard the police. Okay, so he was pulling a Ray Epps on January 6th. It makes me suspicious, all right? First of all, I think that was you're playing right into their fucking hands like a dumbass, thinking you're going to storm the Capitol and anything's going to happen like of use, dude. Like, no, it's not. Here's another one. The DOJ was working on a conspiracy indictment against Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska. Remember Baked Alaska? But never filed it, according to the New York Times. Agent Miller was also setting up a formal interview with the Proud Boy from New York and reading backgrounds on several other Proud Boy cases. In a separate matter, she was also working on a never-filed conspiracy indictment against the white nationalist Nick Fuentes and one of his allies. The far-right troll, Antime Gianet, better known by his nickname Baked Alaska. So they had it all, they just didn't file it. They were working on it, never filed it. And this is where this clip comes from. Okay, let's get on to the next one. So that's to me is a little weird. That to me is a little weird.
Brimley super chatted $2. Kurt Metzger made that point. Nick never arrested.
A lot of people have made that point because it's a what? Like what's going on here? Especially when you see how hard they went after a lot of these January 6ers. But then Nick, the poster boy, the one you'd actually want to make an example of, no, it's probably better to flip him. He's so influential. It's probably better to flip him. I don't know, but you can't be fucking. It's not out of the realm of reason to question what the fuck happened here. Why didn't he get charges? Okay, so the next one is okay, yeah. Here's which one's this one? Tucker Carlson tells Cancellations, but it's been publicly available. Okay, yeah. All right, so this is where we get into Tucker and his when did he find out his dad was CIA? Right? So I'm going to read this guy's message, and then we'll play the little clip of him saying it. Tucker Carlson tells Candace Owens that Nick Fuentes must be a Fed because how else could Nick know Tucker's dad was CIA when Tucker just found out this year? How the hell would this child from Chicago know this? It's been publicly available info for years on the internet. And I remember hearing this a long time ago, too. So it's like, how did you just find out? But I've heard people saying this like for a long time, it seems like. Originally posted to BitChute 4 years ago where it has 100,000 views. I even posted it to Gab over 2 years ago. Am I a Fed too, Tucker? All right, so here's the clip we already played. We won't play that again because I think we have a side-by-side. Yeah, okay, so here's the side-by-side. So here's Tucker in June of 24 saying that his dad worked with the CIA. But yet we just played the clip where he said, I didn't know my dad was CIA until March of this year when he passed away. So it's not adding up. So hopefully Tucker comes out and addresses this because it looks like he's not being 100% truthful about when he found out his dad was CIA.
And so when I applied to CIA, and I've taken a lot of crap, including from Putin, like, oh, you're from a CIA family. Well, yeah, obviously my father worked in conjunction with CIA. I mean, that's what that is. And I tried to join the CIA, but I'm not being false about it. Native talent. And he's attacking my dad as a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
This was in March of this year.
Okay, so yeah, just put another tick on the Tucker might be a Fed side here because this is not. I mean, if you're trying to convince us you didn't work for the CIA, and then you got two stories. Oh, you knew back then, but then you didn't know until 25. And Tucker, did you forget you said this and fucking? I like Tucker, so I'm not doing this because I hate Tucker. It's just, there's a discrepancy here. That makes you fucking wonder. So the way I'm kind of coming away with them. They both might be Feds at this point. Now back to Nick. Here's Milo, and Milo's got a lot of bones to pick, but let's hear what Milo has to say. And again, take what Milo says with a grain of salt, I think. But let's still hear it. It's undeniable that Nick acted on FBI orders on January 6th and was protected thereafter. I believe he gave audience data to the feds to lift a bank hold. He isn't regular informant material, too erratic and dishonest, so they dumped him. So wasn't even a good Fed, basically, according to Milo. But they still own his ass harder than Ali did. Okay, so Milo seems to think he's a Fed. A lot of people seem to think he's a Fed. And let's let Nick address it himself. Nick apparently already addressed this earlier this year when Alex Jones brought it up. And let's see what Nick has to say. Let's give Nick a chance to convince us that he's not a Fed.
People try to say that, you're a Fed for the Southern Poverty Law Center or the ADL.
Right. Well, exactly. And people say that about
Mimri, stop talking about Kazari. I don't give a shit about Kazari. I watched that 12-minute video. It was a waste of my fucking time, Mimri. Okay? Go start your own live stream and talk about Kazari. It's annoying how you guys want me to fucking dive into your conspiracy theories I don't give a shit about.
Me, but the difference is I don't have parents that were.
I watched your video
CIA,
though, Mimri, so you can hopefully leave me alone about it now.
Certainly, the government agencies recruit people that don't come from those families either.
There's no UFO stuff that comes from anywhere else other than the DOD, the security apparatus.
This is from, I think, earlier this year, April, I think.
People like Harry Reid, who's a complete spook. He was the one who was pushing that in the Senate for a long time. So that's exactly, it's a case in point. It's like, you can have whistleblowers. You can have people that are legitimately breaking with the system, class traders, whatever you want to call it. But then you also have this kind of other dimension. You have a parallel track that they run where they pose as the conspiracy theorist. They pose as the dissident. And that's not always the case, but sometimes it is. And that's why, like you say, you have to judge them by their fruit.
Likers Revenge Super Chat $2. Kazariah.
That was Kazaria, dude. Yeah, I mean, you guys can fucking talk about it as much as you want in the comment section. I don't give a shit. It's a little annoying every time I look at the comment section. It's like, talk about Kazaria. I don't give a shit about Kazaria. This is my show. I want to talk about the things that I want to talk about. You guys just, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, go start your own podcast and talk about Kazaria. All right? Stop harassing me about fucking Kazaria. All right? Thank you.
People try to say that, you're a Fed for the Southern Poverty Law Center or the ADL.
Right. Well, exactly. And people say that about me, but the difference is I don't have
Thank you for the
parents
$2,
that were in
Leica.
the CIA. So I know, Tucker Carlson.
But I mean, certainly the government agencies recruit people that don't come from those families either.
That's true. But I think that sometimes I get looked at unfairly. People will consider me to be, some kind of false entity or some kind of agent or something when you don't look at maybe what's more obvious, what might be right in front of your face. The reason I bring up Tucker is because he pushed that about a year and a half ago in an article in the Gray Zone. He worked with Max Blumenthal. They published a three-part hit piece. It was about 10,000 words, calling me an SPLC agent, an agent of the federal government. And I look at the author of the piece. It's Max Blumenthal's wife. Max Blumenthal is the son of a hatchet man for Bill and Hillary Clinton, Sidney Blumenthal. So it's like I'm being called SPLC Fed by the son of a hatchet man for Bill Clinton.
Well, I wasn't going to go to this area because I don't know, and I'm not saying. I mean, they have people coming to your house trying to kill you on record, and then idiots go, "That's staged." No, the guy went and killed himself after that. I mean, got shot. It's all. We'll get to that in a moment. Some of that footage.
I mean, all you do is whine and bitch about everything, dude. So if you don't want to watch, don't watch, bro. God, one less whiny ass comment I'd have to read from you, dude.
But my issue is, people bring up the clip from January 6th.
Like, Mimi, you're only interested about getting me to talk about the Jews. Get him to talk about the Jews. And then if I don't, it's like, oh, no, he's not talking about the Jews. It's not that show, Mimi. Go to another fucking show and watch. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who will feed your fucking need for Jewish conspiracies every fucking second of the day. It's not me, dude. So fuck off.
Where
You're
saying,
annoying
right,
as fuck, bro.
Capitol. Now, you weren't up at the fences breaking them down like Ray Epps. You weren't there the night before saying it. And then they say, well, why weren't you arrested for that?
And I watched the 10 to 12 minute documentary you sent me. It was fucking garbage, dude. It was a garbage documentary. It sounds like a ridiculously stupid fucking conspiracy. And even if it's true, I don't give a fuck. Okay? So that should be enough for you. But it's never enough, is it? It's never enough.
that. Well, I think it was because you weren't on the Capitol grounds.
Right. I was far away from the steps. And what's funny is the author who wrote that article, she didn't even know where I was. She called me for comment on the piece to ask me about that video where I say, we're storming the...
I respond to Mimri because I like Mimri, but he's so fucking annoying. So I have to at some point put him in his place, but I'll stop sidetracking the show with his annoyingness.
Capitol, we're taking over. And I said on the phone, I said, do you know where I was on the Capitol complex? She said, no, I don't know. I said, well, I can send you a map and I can circle it and show you. I wasn't even close to the steps. I was totally far away. And that's the important context.
So what happened that day? Did you get caught up or just heard people had gone in and were just excited about it? Or?
So, yeah, I was there like you. I went to the speech on the ellipse. I think I was sitting actually right beside you at the White House speech, Trump's speech on the ellipse. I wasn't even planning on going to Capitol Hill, but as you know, Trump said on the stage, we're going.
Well, if you weren't planning on going to Capitol Hill, why are you telling your people to go and fucking... It's not adding up here, right? I wasn't even planning on going to Capitol Hill. Do I need to play the fucking speech you were giving? Telling people, pulling a fucking Ray Epps, but I wasn't planning on going to Capitol Hill.
We're going to go and peacefully make our voices heard. And I said, oh, I guess this is what we're doing.
By the way, I told people that I broke that weeks before. I said, I've been told that Trump wants me to lead the peaceful march down there. And then the Secret Service comes and opens the thing. And you saw it, brings me through.
Yes.
I don't think Trump was setting me up, but somebody was.
100%. And I saw that. I saw you leave early and I heard the same thing. And I said, oh, Jones is going, Trump is going. I said, I guess this is what we're doing. And I went
leave early. They opened the thing right in front of Trump and I went through there.
Yeah, I saw it. I watched it happen. And then I followed everybody up there. I went to Capitol Hill. We went on the lawn of the hill or just outside of it where there's two statues where it meets with that body of water. And somebody gave me a megaphone. I jumped up on a statue and, like we did in Georgia, like we did in some of the other state capitals, I was hyping the people up. I said, all right, we're taking the Capitol, this and that.
And a lot of people, when we got there, even though there was tear gas, they were saying that too. There was an excitement.
Yes. But I was with a group that never even got close. I was with a group of...
I got to play this again because the way he's making it sound, he's trying to downplay it. When clearly he was pulling a fucking Ray Epps. Where is this video again? I got to play this again. Keep moving towards the Capitol. This is Nick Fuentes' words, okay? It appears we are taking the Capitol. Don't relent, never relent. Break down the barriers. And disregard the police. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he had no plans of going to the Capitol. Okay, you had no plans of going to the Capitol. So you just wanted all of your followers to go to the Capitol and get arrested, possibly shot. It's not adding up, dude. It's not adding up. Let's get back to it.
About 20 people, and I said, you know what, guys, we got to get out of here. I said, because they're throwing tear gas. I said, they're sending in Capitol Police. I said, we got to get out of here.
And you said, yeah, join people going in before that really started, or?
When?
As soon as I got there, I ran there when I found out, because the phones weren't working well, but I finally got a text by some of our advanced security that had gone there. And they're like, you got to get down here and stop this. The people are fighting the police. Looks like provocateurs. So my Achilles was gone, but I kind of, like a fat person, bounced down the street at a jog. And I just immediately went up on top of a pile of chairs that hadn't been folded out yet. It was a big square of them, and said, don't go in. Don't go in. It's going to be Kent State. We're being set up, because I could really see that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I turned everybody around after that. And, what people don't point out is I got put on a federal no-fly list after that. I got my bank account frozen. I got banned from Facebook, Instagram. I got subpoenaed by Congress a year later. So people always like to say, why didn't you get charged?
Yeah, but a lot of people were... Okay, I guess that does qualify as something. But yeah. I don't think that's enough for me to go, why didn't he get charged?
Well, when you look at what people got charged with, they got charged with trespassing, insurrection in some rare cases. They got charged with conspiracy if they were part of a militia or some other organized group. And I say I didn't fit in any of those categories. People say, well, you were inciting. Well, show me someone that got charged with incitement. People got charged with trespassing.
Yeah, so like Ray Epps? Like Ray Epps? I don't know. I'm not buying this, man. I'm not buying this. It just doesn't make sense that they wouldn't go after fucking enemy number one, Nick Fuentes, the head of the white supremacy alt-right movement. Just don't press charges on him. No. Press charges on all these people we don't fucking know and no one cares about. But the main guy who, you know, you want to make a fucking example of, no, he doesn't get charges. It's just very suspicious. I'm suspicious of both of them at this point, of Tucker and Nick. They've both convinced me that each other is a Fed. Tucker's convinced me. Well, I mean, Tucker didn't convince me. My own eyes have not convinced me. Look, I don't know 100%, but I'd say much like with the Trump stuff, it's leaning towards, you know, with Trump, it leans towards he did some really sick shit. And with Tucker and fucking Nick, it's leaning towards they could possibly be Feds. Let's just say I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't share any secrets with them, okay? That's for sure.
And a variety of other violent crimes, vandalism.
And entering the unauthorized federal building, you know.
Right, which I didn't do. So,
well, so moving on from that, regardless, you have to look at the information people put out, and then that's it. There's far too much time, in my opinion, obsessing over who's this, who's that. But I want to move on to this next subject. I got a lot. You can bring up any subject you want. We got a lot of time, and you're welcome to. And I hope we should have checked. I don't know if you want to go on the war room today. I'm sure he wants you. So check with Owen. Can you do that if you want to go on the war room?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
See, Tucker's good friends with Alex too. Alex and Tucker are pretty close. I wonder how Tucker feels about Alex warming up to Nick now. I wonder how that's going.
A big guest. I need to remember to get him booked on the other shows. My fault. I always bitch the crew when they have a big guest. Why didn't you say get him on my show too? Vice versa.
I didn't watch all this, so I don't know if they're done talking about the Fed stuff.
Worse than the crew. Better late than never. Attacked. I see it a lot, and I want people to understand where I come from. Jones is the ultimate, hopium person. He's
all right. So we'll move on. So that's Nick defending himself. It's not bad. Not bad defense, but at the end of the day, you cannot blame people for questioning. Same thing with Tucker. Tucker's dad was CIA. Tucker's now being all shifty about when he found out his dad was CIA. All right. Yeah, it's reasonable to question whether Tucker's might be working with some fucking intelligence agency. It's also reasonable to question Nick Fuentes might also be working behind the scenes, as an informant or some shit like that. Who knows? But yeah, somebody said what Milo said. I showed that earlier, Again, I don't know how much we trust Milo, but Milo did say it's undeniable that Nick acted on FBI orders on January 6th and was protected thereafter. So this is what a lot of people think Ray Epps did. This is what Ray Epps was up to. So basically, Nick Fuentes was pulling a Ray Epps. I believe he gave audience data to the feds to lift a bank hold. Now, I don't know what evidence they have of that. Is that a real thing? Did somehow the feds get all of these names of people who were donating to him? And then, I don't know, is there evidence of that beyond Milo saying it? He isn't regular informant material, too erratic and dishonest. So yeah, he has to attack him then. He's like, he's a Fed, but he wasn't even a good Fed. He was a terrible Fed. They didn't even like him. Remember Joey Swole? Joey Swole's got canceled and now he's back.
Alex Jones has become Heisenberg. I buy meth blue.
Do you like it, Wilford? I'm seeing all these fucking people are taking it. Rogan's taking it. Everybody's fucking taking it. I don't know. I feel good. I don't feel like I need anything. I got my caffeine. I got my fucking vitamins. I'm eating right. Like, what do I mean, it almost seems like a drug at this point, this methylene blue, the way people are talking about, oh, it hits after 20 minutes. And oh my God, I'm just like so focused and in the zone. It's like, it sounds like you're taking drugs, dude. But yeah, I would like to try it. At some point, I'm not going to buy it, but if I show up anywhere, somebody has it, I'm willing to try and see what the fuck it's all about. But the thing about dyeing your brain blue and your mouth, that's just a little scary to me. But yeah, Joey Swole, if you remember, just the other day, he got canceled for the crime of liking Hulk Hogan. The crime of looking up to Hulk Hogan and being like, oh, I looked up to him as a kid, which, everybody in my generation did. And, he came out and posted this message.
I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology.
Oh, never do that. That is a mistake.
A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with, that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible, horrible things that that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human.
So yeah, so he backtracked, and then he made this message like he was quitting. He's like, all the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. When I need help, when I need kindness and empathy, nothing. I truly hope all the people I've inspired to do great things in their life and paid for to help others and carry on my message. But no matter good you do, no matter how many people you help, they just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. It's true. You either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain. It's like, dude, just calm down, bro. Just calm down, dude. It's a bunch of fucking lunatics on the internet, dude. Thank you for your support. Please remember me and smile. I love you all. I'm done. Oh, God, such a bitch move. Well, you know, it seems like he finally woke up. It looks like he got enough pushback from the fucking people that are like, why are you letting this fucking woke mob bully you into leaving and not doing what you do? Why are you apologizing like a little bitch? So he's back. And he's done apologizing. So I'm not quitting and I'm done apologizing. Let's see what he says. I mean, this is good, right? So, you know, sometimes it just takes a couple days for people to fucking process everything and go, you know, fuck these people. But you still shouldn't have fucking apologized. But let's see what he says now.
Love me or hate me, I am not going anywhere, and you are not going to cancel me. I just needed a few days to step.
Did he take a few days and like smash his face against the wall or something? It looks like he got into a fight.
Step back, to breathe, to get my mind right. And over those few days, I received thousands and thousands of messages from people telling me, do not quit. How much I help and inspire them, including messages giving me a good kick in the ass that I needed to get back up. So I am not quitting, and I am done apologizing. I'm going to continue making videos calling out bullies, being a voice for the people that can't defend themselves, and making the gym community.
Did his husband beat him, being his lover? Is Joey Swole gay? Nothing wrong with it, dude. More power. More power to you, Joey Swole. Well, what is his swole now? Now I have a question of what is actually swole. Is it his arms or is it his, you know what I'm saying? Joey, look, at least he's finally waking up and he's realizing what the woke mob does. And this is like their playbook. To try to bully you to be like their little bitch, to push all of their talking points. Oh, the woke mob's talking point is, fuck Hulk Hogan, he was a racist piece of shit. And then you come out and say, man, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. I used to watch him and I grew up loving him. And then they come after you until you start pushing their narrative. And they want you to be just a puppet to their fucking narrative. The right does it too. And you got to fight back against that shit. You know, you got to be willing to stand on what you say. And you might not be right. You might be wrong. And when you're wrong, you go, you know what? I was wrong about that. You know, I make mistakes like everybody else. But don't apologize. Don't be a little bitch. The cancellations are ramping up. The cancellations are ramping up. Now they're trying to cancel Markiplier because he uses AI. Because now you can be canceled if you use AI, apparently. Okay?
Hold on.
And this is the clip that got Markiplier canceled.
Hey.
Although I don't think this one's going to stick.
I was wondering if you could tell me what the protein profile of sunflower seeds is.
Yeah. Hey, sunflower seeds are a good source of protein. They contain all essential amino acids, but not in perfectly balanced amounts. Typically, they have around 20 to 25 grams of protein per 100 grams. They are especially rich in methionine and cysteine, but lower in lysine, so they aren't considered a complete protein on their own.
Imagine like one of the woke mobsters is sitting here watching this, just going, holy shit, Markiplier just asked ChatGPT a question. That's it. Canceled, motherfucker. It's like, dude, a lot of people are using ChatGPT. I get it. I get the problems. I get they're using a lot of water. I get that. But why are we going to let all that water go to waste? They're going to use the fucking water whether I use ChatGPT or not. So if we're going to waste all this fucking water, I might as well use the service so this water doesn't go to waste. Thank you, Dr. Shrek.
Dr. Shrek super chatted $2. Joey listened to Chumbawamba and got back up again.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. He looks like somebody who'd listen to that. I mean, that is a good song, though, man. That is a song that'll get you hyped, man.
If you combine them with other sources like
Thank you for the
legumes,
bro.
you can create a more balanced amino acid profile.
I didn't listen.
No worry.
Oh.
20 to 20.
I asked because, you know, that's ChatGPT's, like, voice talk feature.
Everyone's gonna hate you.
I love it.
What about the water?
What about the water?
It's stealing the water.
Where?
I don't know how it works. I've been told. It's taking the water.
Oh.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Shh. Put his eyes back.
Well, okay, so...
It's hard to watch. This is cringe as fuck.
The thing about that is in computers, data centers need water. Do you know why?
Cooling?
Yes, cooling. So that's what they're doing. That's what they mean when it's taking the water.
Who takes more water?
God, I don't know who this guy is, but I don't fucking like him. He's annoying as fuck.
Okay? ChatGPT or almonds?
Let's ask ChatGPT. Hey, what would consume more water? The data centers that power you and your ability to answer my questions, or almond growing in all of California?
All almond farming in California uses significantly more water than data centers.
Okay, well, we gotta get rid of almonds too, guys. Fuck almonds. Almonds are like the worst, most tasteless fucking nut there is, dude. Fuck almonds, dude.
Almonds require around a gallon of water per almond.
Holy shit, a gallon of fucking water for your fucking one little almond, dude. Every time you eat an almond, you're wasting a gallon of fucking water, dude. Why do we need almonds? Almonds are like a shitty nut. Pistachios are where it's at. Now, I heard almonds cure cancer. That's all fucking propaganda from the almond fucking lobbyists, okay? Almonds do not cure cancer, okay? We got to get rid of almonds. If we just got rid of almonds, then we'd have plenty of water for fucking AI, dude. And I think AI might do more for us than almonds. I don't know. AI is going to be terrible, but what's going to be terrible about AI is the AI control mechanisms. Not the fucking tools that help you find out how much fucking nutrition there is in a sunflower seed. That's not what's going to be bad about AI. It's going to be the AI robot police cop that pulls up to you and fucking blows your head off on accident. It's going to be the AI fucking algorithms that destroy your whole ability to make a living because, you said punt and it thought you said the C version of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the AI to be worried about. But, fuck Markiplier because he wanted to ask ChatGPT. He wanted to use ChatGPT as like a search engine to understand the nutritional profile of a sunflower seed. But yeah, we should definitely get rid of fucking almonds, dude.
Almond, which adds up to billions of gallons annually. Data centers also consume water, especially for cooling, but the volume is much smaller compared to large-scale agriculture.
You're not just saying that because you're ChatGPT and you wouldn't want to be accused of stealing too much water, are you?
So yeah, you're done for, Marky. You're done, dude.
Nope.
So yeah, this is the controversy now. I think he's even doing a live stream now, trying to talk his people down from the edge. Another cancellation, Anthony Fantano. Now, I don't mind this one very much. I've always found this dude to be annoying. I don't know why. He's just kind of fucking annoying. But apparently he was an edgy boy back in the day, and he said the N-word too many times because, like, I guess he was quoting rappers or like quoting people that would say the N-word, and he wasn't like he didn't think it was wrong to just say the N-word if he was quoting somebody, which, by the way, I don't think that's wrong either. It's the same thing they went after Rogan for, because Rogan, like, after 10 fucking years of doing a podcast, he had quoted this book quite a few times. Because you know how Rogan tells the same stories over and over and over? So he kept bringing up this book that was, the name of the book was The N-Word. Not the N-word, but the N-word, you know what I'm saying? And I don't fucking care, dude. Why do we have to be so fucking sensitive about words, dude?
Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and
my biggest problem with Fantano isn't that he's saying naughty words, is that he's an annoying fucking little. He's just he's like somebody I just want to stuff in a fucking locker, dude.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm getting torn apart on Twitter, which is nothing.
It's just the attitude. It's the way he talks. It's the face. It's everything. It's everything. And you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't bully anybody. But he brings out the bully of me, the bully inside of me. He does.
For me personally, but the discourse seems to have reached a fever pitch that's making a lot of people concerned and angry and even thinking I'm covertly a racist, bigoted person. Now, these are the same sorts of allegations that...
The purple background too, Kaido, that does it too. I thank you for pointing that out because... sometimes you get a sense, but you don't really know why. That purple background is probably a big part of it, ain't it?
I have fought against and won before, and I'm...
To be a real man like me and use a blue fucking light, not purple.
happy to do it again because I have...
Because he thinks he's fucking royalty, right? The purple light. Oh, purple, like the kings. Yeah, because I'm like music royalty.
Thing to hide, and I know that
his smugness. Yeah, you're right, Goey.
Time, so let's just get straight into it with Exhibit A. This clip right here, which has just been going absolutely viral, and here's my explanation for it. Early on in my YouTube career, I had some pretty lax views when it came to quoting.
So it's basically him saying the N-word a bunch.
Language of others, and my point of view was, what does it matter? It's not me saying it. I'm relaying a lyric or a sentiment or a point.
It matters because people that hate you 10 years down the road are going to clip every time you said it, Anthony. And they're going to make a compilation of you saying it out of context so that everybody thinks you're like fucking the next coming of Adolf Hitler, bro. And it's kind of funny, ain't it? I don't know. I think it's funny, Anthony. But yeah, that's why you don't fall into that. I mean, yeah, everybody should be allowed to say it, but there's repercussions for saying it. You're going to get kicked off the internet. You're going to get banned. You're going to get demonetized. And then little nerds are going to make a fucking compilation of you saying it so that your whole life is destroyed. So you made a miscalculation there, Anthony. But I don't think you should be canceled, even though I think you're annoying as fuck.
To view expressed by someone else. I'm even embarrassed to say that I don't think it was until like a few years ago that I actually changed and censored the text of this 2014 Death Grips review title. And as you can see in the comments of this video, there's even...
Yeah, go check out Cannabis Review TV. He does good cannabis reviews. Although I don't think you're doing them anymore, are you? You got to get back into it, brother.
Been a lot of discourse and jokes flying around about...
Probably not advertiser friendly, is it?
Me not saying...
I hate the rules on YouTube, man. If you're Mike Tyson, you can fucking smoke weed all day. Your whole podcast, you could be sitting there smoking weed, doing DMT. That shit doesn't get demonetized. Joe Rogan smoking weed all day, and it doesn't get demonetized. Somebody like me, I pull out a joint, demonetized.
The title. And at the time, this sort of thing left me feeling like this is more or less a moral gray area. I extended this attitude into other pieces of content I have made, like this one, where it is also clear I am quoting someone, even in the tightly edited state this clip has been presented.
Yeah, he was quoting iDubbbz, because remember when iDubbbz said the N-word, F-word, and it was so edgy, and his whole career just blew up because he said some edgy word that nobody else was allowed to say. Some reason he could say it and not have his career fucking ruined. But anybody else said it. I mean, yeah. Remember when iDubbbz was edgy? Remember that?
And the reason I'm doing so is to voice disagreement with calling people racial and homophobic slurs as a bit, which is what the original content creator I was quoting was doing. And he himself has since apologized for this whole era of his career. But I'm not getting deeper into the weeds than that because this video isn't about him. Because the fact of the matter is I should have and could have just censored myself while pointing this behavior out. But unfortunately, my position left me feeling kind of nonchalant because it's not the words themselves, but the sentiment of them that's being expressed that's truly disgusting. And sure, while that is true on some level, explicitly quoting him was in bad form.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude.
Number 5 super chatted $1.99. Pecan pie defeats all pies, including ding apple.
Oh yeah, apple pie is dog shit, dude. Pecan pie is like, I don't know, there's some pies that are all right, but pecan pie is like, it needs to be in its own fucking category because there's no pie that even comes close to pecan pie. And if you disagree with me or number here, then you're a fucking idiot.
And just
yeah, I love pecan pie.
I would have still gotten my point across and done so without upsetting anybody had I taken that approach. And I feel this way now because of an important realization I only made after tons and tons of people were watching me, that I don't make content just for me. I do it for an audience.
Okay, so he's canceled. Not coming back for this. Look at this. He's even got the Hitler stash right here. Look at that. Look, he's doing a little Hitler stash. Get rid of him. You're out of here, Anthony Fantano. Asmongold is not going to forgive you, and that's what counts. That's what matters. If Asmongold doesn't forgive you, you're done, dude. You're done for.
Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm getting torn apart on Twitter, which is nothing new.
You deserve it. You've been participating in online hate mobs against people, virtue.
Has he been doing that, Asmon? Has this little purple background freak fucking been doing that? I hate mobs, dude. By the way, anybody I talk shit about, yeah, leave them alone. Don't go to their channel and fucking bother them. Don't be like those the Hassan Piker fucking losers. Like they form little mobs against everybody they hate, and they fucking downvote them, and they fucking report their shit. Has he been doing that? Has he been doing that, Asman? Well, fuck him then. He deserves it.
You signaling on everybody on Twitter. You've done this to me multiple times, and now it's happening to you. And you're never going to get people that are going to dislike you to ever forget about this. There's never going to be a moment where you're going to be able to move past this. Everybody is always going to think of you as a fake fuck. It doesn't matter what you're going to say in this video. You already look like a clown, and there's nothing that you can do about it. That's it. It's over.
It sounds like Asman's been waiting for this day his whole entire life. So this dude sent a mob of people after you, Asman. How dare he, dude? How dare he? Yeah. You know, sometimes the right people get canceled. Now, obviously, I don't agree with him being canceled, but what do you think's going to happen when you have like all this history of saying shit like that? Yeah, the left's going to fucking come after you and paint you as a fucking Nazi racist, dude. Especially if you ever have any opinions outside of their acceptable opinions. So, yeah, that's funny. The cancellations are kicking up, boys. They're kicking up. Now, this was a hilarious fucking clip. I don't know who this fucking lefty liberal is that's on this Culture War podcast, but Matan, I'm just gonna let this clip play because it's it's so good.
Can I ask you a question? I just want an answer, yes or no. That's it, just one word. Did it or did you not a dog?
All right, so this is the liberal who's been like, you know, just holding down the liberal viewpoint. I shouldn't even say liberal, progressive, woke leftist, whatever. And I guess there's rumors out there that he R-worded a dog.
Just a yes or no.
Can you not a dog? How do you make love to a dog?
Well, that's my question.
Ow, stop. I'm not into this.
You get all mad when people don't answer your questions, but you won't answer mine.
I think my questions are topical. I think they're related to what we're here to discuss.
Okay, that's fine. I don't agree. I think your questions are not topical. I think mine is topical.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you answer that question? It should be really easy for most people.
It's not
so you think it's okay to you think it's okay to dog?
Why would anybody refuse to answer that question?
Okay. So you like that. So that's cool.
Immigration policy generally, and whether or not you're
No, hold on a minute. I need an answer on that.
Immigration policy.
Hold on. Hold on.
Immigration is
Are we serious?
You guys brought up immigration.
Bro, how could you not answer that question, dude? The fact that he doesn't answer that question it's making me think this dude might have R-worded a fucking dog. Because that's a very easy question. And he gave him the yes or no. And that's just a simple no. Of course not. Anybody who's saying that is just making shit up. Yeah, no. And this guy can't even do that. Who is this fucking guy? First of all, Tim, why are you letting a guy like this on your show?
And the issue of whether or not you're going to
Who in their right mind would refuse to answer that? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
He's acting guilty. He's acting guilty. Just like Trump and Epstein.
I'll give you the benefit.
So
hold on.
Mike.
The way that they're going to try to hide the cover up of
Guys, you're
Epstein
gonna get your
files-
check.
Mike's a good actor.
Guys, like when you guys scream sentences, we can't understand, we can't hear you. If you put your name in the hat, you're gonna be able to tell us whatever you want. So try to.
Alex is crowd control, huh?
I gotta say.
Wait, hold on. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he didn't, but he's so annoying that he just refuses to answer. Now everybody here thinks he raped a dog. Why don't you just say no? Are you?
Dude. Now I know why Tim was so happy with Matan.
The best you got.
Just say no.
This is
It's pretty good. This is the best you got. No, it's pretty good. It's pretty fucking good when they can paint you in a corner where you can't even say no. I didn't R-word a dog. Yeah, the best they got is pretty fucking good. And you're fucking cooked, bro. No one gives a shit about anything you said on this show now, other than your refusal to say no. I did not do that.
the best you got.
Just answer my question.
It's the dog.
So
wait, are we going by dog years or its actual age?
So we're here to discuss Trump.
No, the dog. Now we're on the topic of the dog.
They can't defend it.
The topic has
And so they
changed.
have
We've
to
shipped
meme.
sail, buddy.
They have to meme.
Just say no.
So
Gavin is like, just say no, dude. Jesus Christ. Just say no. How hard is this?
I'm here to discuss whether Trump is fucking up. He obviously is. And
answer the question
And the crowd's getting mad now. It's like, what the fuck? Answer the fucking question, dude. They're about to fucking riot. I mean, people don't, I mean, rightfully so. People don't like that shit. You know, people don't like it when you abuse animals, dude. Ooh. Let's finish it.
I do have an answer from a time. You know, you're asking about Trump fucking up. And I hear these liberals saying Trump is acting real guilty.
You fucking dogs.
And then when he asks you about a dog to make a point, you refuse to answer it. You're sounding real guilty.
Hang on a second.
Yeah. That dude's, his career's over. His career's over. I bet you he already posted a fucking 10-minute explanation as to, you better respond. There are some things that you cannot not respond to. That's one of them, right? It's a simple yes or no question, dude. You gotta say no. You gotta say no.
Andrew Wilson super chatted $5.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to take Gavin serious since putting a dildo in his beehole live on his podcast.
Yeah. That I remember that. I had the pleasure of seeing that because old Vic Berger, I used to follow him. I don't know if I still do, but he blocked me. I don't know why. I've never talked to Vic Berger. I've only said like positive things about Vic, even though I clearly think Vic is a little crazy with his politics. I gave Vic Berger a lot of credit for like inspiring me to make the work, to do the work I did. And then he just randomly one day just post on X, the dildo situation with Gavin McGinnis, and so I watched it on accident, didn't know that's what I was about to see, and the Proud Boys thing was a bad look too. It was a dumb fucking move. I mean, if it would have stayed just like a drinking club where like and then it became this whole fucking, like, imagine all those protests with the left and the right. If the Proud Boys hadn't showed up, it would have just been the left looking like idiots. And then the Proud Boys show up and the whole thing is like, oh, now these right-wing Nazis are attacking people. And it's like, again, playing right into their fucking hands, dude. But yeah, this, I don't know who this guy is, but the FBI needs to be investigating him 100%. Thank you for the $5, bro. I was going to play this one the other day, Chris Cuomo. And what we're going to get to next is there's been some new footage that people have uncovered from the Epstein jail cell tape. Or I don't know if it's new footage or people just discovered something, but there are a lot of discrepancies that are not making sense, right? Like there's a guy that goes up the stairs at like 10 o'clock, never comes down. You know, the prison, the jail guards or whatever, according to the DOJ, never moved. They sat in their seat all night, but then when you watch the footage, they're moving around. So we're going to get into that next after we hear Cuomo admit what we all already knew, which is he's a fucking moron.
Stuck in traffic. I'm remembering right now.
That I'm a moron.
I'm wrong a lot. We don't like to say it. We don't like to admit it. We really don't like to correct it. But that is how you grow and you get to a better place. And it is such a precious commodity right now.
Would he be saying this if he was still working at CNN? I don't know, man. I don't buy it, dude. I don't buy it. I think a lot of these people willingly fucking lied and misled their audiences because they were told to. But no, I was wrong. I just happened to be wrong about everything. Okay. Maybe you were. Maybe you're just a moron who was wrong about everything. Okay, maybe.
I've been wrong. I've been wrong about political issues. I've been wrong about people. I've been wrong about myself. I've been wrong about my responsibilities. I've been wrong about my opinions, my tastes, my choices. I've been wrong. And that's okay. Hopefully you learn. Hopefully when you're wrong, you get to a better place if you do the work, unless you stubbornly hold on. And that's where so much of us are stuck. It's not just being wrong, it's refusing to learn what's right. I've been wrong. Have you been wrong? If you say no, you're wrong.
Yeah, we've all been wrong, but not as wrong as you, dude. And not wrong about such fucking huge things like lockdowns. And remember, he was like pretending to have COVID, and then he was like, I'm isolating inside my house, and I'm being a good little boy. And then they found him like he's out in public, like doing that. What a fucking! I mean, this guy. Yeah, you were wrong. You were also a liar. So it's hard to trust you and be like, oh, he's turning a new leaf. No, he was lying his fucking ass off, dude. Right? He's doing. K-Mac. He's doing the video blowing through traffic lights. Yep. All right, so this is a good one. This is a 20-minute video. This guy breaks down this video and some of the discrepancies in this fucking tape. Yeah, we'll just play it. I'll let him cover it. But it's pretty fucking interesting, dude.
Hey, everybody, Dr. G
So
here.
we are still learning some things from this videotape. I think people might be catching things that the FBI didn't even catch, and then or the DOJ didn't even catch, and then it's like disproving what the DOJ is saying.
I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a
Dr.
body
G.
language
We've
expert.
played
And
this shit
today,
before. He's
we're going to
good.
be
Go give him a
analyzing
follow.
more evidence from
Dr.
the
G
Epstein cover-up
explains.
as well as body language from various people, including President Trump. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are...
Where are we at? Almost 70 likes. If you guys are enjoying the show, smash the thumbs up. See if we can get to 100. Yeah, and like always, if you want to support the channel, you can become a member. It helps the show out. The links are in the description. There's also a link for Patreon for people that don't want to give YouTube money. Or, you can send a super chat, and I will react to your message. All right, let's go.
Are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. Before we get to the body language, I wanted to talk about the Office of the Inspector General of the Department of Justice's report on Epstein's death. I talked about this last time in depth, but there is something that I forgot to include, and this is pretty important. What we're going to be looking at is the date, July 29th. I want to briefly give you a little bit of context before I talk about the date, July 29th. August 10th is when he was found dead. July 23rd, he was found with orange cloth around his neck. It was alleged by him that somebody else did it to him. It was suggested by other people that he did it himself. That was ultimately never determined, even according to this report.
So I didn't know that angle. Epstein, on his first supposed suicide attempt, he was claiming somebody else did that. I didn't know that. Man, who would lie if you were suicidal? Who would come out and say, actually, somebody tried to kill me? See, yeah, that's weird. Welcome, Andrew. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Andrew. Man, I didn't know that angle. I didn't know that part of it. So even, man, he might still be alive. Who knows?
They were never clear on what happened. So you'll hear people say he attempted on July 23rd. There's not evidence that that's actually true. But according to this report's timeline, here's what happened on July 29th. Psychology department staff determined that Epstein can be released from psychological observation and transferred back to the SHU, Special Housing Unit. That's what SHU stands for. All right, so keep in mind, on July 29th, he was released from observation. Let's see what else happened on July 29th. Now, before I read this quote, I want you to keep in mind there were 2 DVR systems that all of the security cameras were attached to. It was like 150 security cameras, DVR1 and DVR2. They were recorded at one or the other. All of the cameras on Epstein's block, all the ones around his cell, were on DVR2. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. Now, this is a quote talking about the electronics technician that came the same day that his body was found. Later that day, he was asked to pull potential video from cameras located in and around the SHU. The electronics technician eventually determined that most of the cameras in the SHU area were assigned to record to DVR2. While the cameras assigned to DVR2 were providing live video streams on August 9th and 10th, 2019. What that means is that on the cameras, like if you were looking at security cameras, there would have been a feed, but it would have not been recording to anything. It wouldn't save anywhere. No recordings from those cameras were available due to the DVR2 hard drive issue.
Very convenient, man.
The FBI later determined had occurred on July 29th, 2019. So what are the odds? Jeffrey Epstein is going to be released back into the SHU, and all of a sudden, the cameras no longer work. And they continue to not record until after Jeffrey Epstein's death. He died on the 10th. So keep that in mind. Now, something else I want you to think about, just in terms of the technology of this, is that when DVR systems are not functional, because I researched this, it will say no hard drive, no disk, data corrupt, system failure. It will tell you on the screen that it is not working. Also, there can be physical things like lights that come on. There are a million ways to tell that it is not recording, that it is not properly working.
Did they even fucking try maybe resetting it? They usually fix everything, dude. Just fucking unplug everything and plug it back in. Did they even try that?
So
I mean, clearly to me, I don't even trust that the cameras weren't working. It's too convenient. It's like, oh yeah, the cameras were working, but it's not being saved to DVR, so it's just a coincidence.
Idea that,
and then for like a week, they didn't fix it. The fuck? Make it make sense, dude. It's too convenient.
this went unknown for a couple of weeks. It's pretty wild. Now, there is a ton of information in this report, and there's all sorts of really strange inconsistencies. Like at one point in the opening summary, it says that the correctional officers never got up from their seats the whole time, and they were up and about. We can watch it with our own eyes, and it even talks about it in this report. So the report's all over.
So that is sketchy, dude. Like, he's talking about the DOJ report, and then, you know, from watching the video, you're seeing all these things in the video that contradict the DOJ's own report. So what's going on here? Are they just stupid, or are they fucking lying? I'd say it's the latter.
Place. But if there are things that you want me to analyze, if you want me to go through and talk about every last thing, I can do that. It might feel a little bit tedious, but I can cover every single inconsistency through this whole report. I've gone through and analyzed all 128 pages. As a forensic psychologist, unfortunately, I know how much someone can learn about you by tracking your data online.
Oh, you always got to have an ad.
Cases where I've seen it directly. There's an incredible amount of
information
data. Relief
I don't care about Incogni. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great.
All right, let's get back to the analysis.
This is
now we're going to watch President Trump responding directly to questions about Pam Bondi.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job, and I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like.
Now, one thing you're already noticing is he's not talking at all with his hands. When he really wants you to hear something, when he really wants to emphasize something, he pulls his hands out. He gets very emphatic. Right now, you're not seeing any of that, which means that he wants you to hear what he's saying, but he's not putting a lot of feeling behind it.
That makes sense.
Because possibly he doesn't want this to be focused on like many of the other things that he talks about.
I'd like to see that also, but I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important, and you want credible evidence for something like that. And I think the Attorney General has handled it very well.
How many more states? The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI.
Just to be clear, maybe it's obvious, but he's not stepping in any way other than trying to hear better, I think. So in that sense, I wouldn't read too much into that body language.
Review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On the...
Although, let's watch this right here. I want you to listen to this part again. I'm going to explain what just happened.
How many more states? The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you.
So he said the Attorney General, or she said the Attorney General briefed you on the findings of the review. You saw the chin go up. He's trying to show you he's above this. He doesn't really need to answer questions about this. He is trying to physically show you that he doesn't like this and that he's above this line of questioning.
Findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you
on that.
What?
On the
DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein. Of the
And I've talked about before how relationships are important to him. You can hear he sounds more curt than usual. He sounds a little bit irritated as he's being asked this. He's asking for clarification, which I presume that he doesn't actually need. I think that he could figure out from context they were already talking about Epstein, but he wanted the person to say it because it's going to be more uncomfortable.
Yeah, Trump's looking pretty rough. Somebody says, why does he look like he has a black eye? Well, yeah, I'm sure he's just getting old, dude. Probably got a bruise from just getting out of bed. It's just him just resting his face on his pillow caused a bruise.
Clearly, it annoys him.
It's easy
so
when you're old.
In this situation right here, he is pressing the reporter. He's trying to make it uncomfortable so that other people won't ask those questions, or people that maybe have a good relationship with him won't ask those questions.
on the DOJ
This is
and
Dr.
FBI.
G explains. For someone who said, who's
on
this?
Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing.
So you're not really seeing any reaction when she talked about his name being in the files. As I've said previously, I really don't think that's the focus. I think that it has more to do with other people. I really don't think that he's worried about himself in that regard. And this, I just don't get that impression, and none of the body language is consistent with that either.
And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden information,
So what you're seeing now is you're seeing him emphasize with his body again. This is the way that President Trump typically talks. He uses his hands a lot. He uses his body a lot to speak. He's a very kinetic speaker in that way. So when he's talking about it being Comey or Obama or the Biden administration, you're seeing a lot more emphasis there. That's really what he wants you to focus on.
different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden.
This shit again.
You know, we went through years of that with the Russia.
You also see now he is leaning in a little bit further. Now, this I don't think is so much because he can't hear. I think that he's feeling more intense about this and he wants people to hear this. So you're seeing the body lean forward. And as he's talking about the Russia things, he's really starting to get back at it. His hands are starting to come out. You can see it if you watch his shoulders. You can see his arms are moving again.
This ain't even the right fucking video.
And this is where
I thought this was the one where he goes over the tape. Hold on, this is not the right video.
there can be physical things like lights that come on. There are a million ways to tell that it is.
I must have saved the wrong one. Yeah, he's got one where he's showing some new shit on the video. Let me get to that one. I don't know. Somehow I saved the wrong one. Let's see. Yeah. Epstein's killer caught on camera. Here we go.
Hey, everybody.
I was about to say, I don't remember him doing a body analysis, body language analysis on yeah, this is the one.
G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert, but today we're not going to be analyzing body language. Today we're going to be doing a forensic analysis of Jeffrey Epstein's death. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These
skip ahead a little bit.
Right now, you can see that one of the officers, her name's Officer Noel. Her name's going to come up a few times, so I want to
full screen this because this is so hard to see.
She's sitting at the desk where the officers sit. You're going to see her get up in a minute, and it's going to be important that you see where she walks. Because if you're to understand the layout of this place, if you look right here, that's a staircase. You're seeing just a sliver of it. That's a staircase that leads up to what's called Tier L. And Tier L is where Jeffrey Epstein is housed. We're going to look at a picture of Tier L later. But right now you can see Officer Noel is getting up. And as you watch, she walks right off the screen. Clearly, she didn't walk up the stairs. I paused it. Clearly, she did not walk up the stairs. She walked directly off. We're going to watch that one last time so you can see what that looks like. All of this matters. Just bear with me. It's so hard to see. It's important to watch it a couple of times. Okay, so she just walked off. So what we're going to do now is skip ahead about a minute so you can see this orange figure walk up these stairs. Now, as you can see, as I pointed out before, clearly Officer Noel did not walk up the stairs.
I remember somebody talking about this orange figure that walks up the stairs around 10 p.m. Didn't somebody try to say that that was actually Epstein going to his cell? But yeah, this is the thing that's in question here.
But what the DOJ alleges is that this is in fact her carrying either linens or clothes up the stairs, and that must be what we're seeing. But we've got a lot of details around that we're going to get into from the report that make this much more complicated. Let's just jump right in and watch it, and then we'll talk more about it. So here we are, nearing 10:40 p.m. I want you to watch on the staircase. You're going to see what looks like a figure dressed in orange walking up the stairs.
It's an orange fucking ghost, bro. Yeah, definitely an orange jumpsuit going up those stairs, dude.
So clearly this is the color of their jumpsuits. No question about that. Let's watch this again.
And where did this person come from that they're just going up the stairs? They had to come from over here. And so as like a prisoner just walking around unescorted in the shoe and just putting themselves in their own cell after lockdown, like none of this makes any sense.
And as far as I can tell, you see somebody moving around. I don't see any parts that do not look orange. Because what is said in the report, let's actually read the report right now. I'm going to pull this up, although we're going to be going much deeper into the report. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about specifically what it says. Through review and analysis of the shoe video footage, witness statements, and BOP records, the OIG determined that at approximately 10:40 p.m., which is what we're looking at right now, a CO, in other words, a correctional officer, believed to be Noel, carried linen or inmate clothing up to L tier.
So they're trying to say that figure, which was obviously wearing an orange fucking jumpsuit, the DOJ is trying to say that was the big black lady, remember, that we saw on the video, where you see there's like portions of the footage where she's like walking in and out of this door. That's who they're talking about. And they're trying to say that was her going up when it's clearly was somebody in a fucking orange jumpsuit, dude.
Which was the last time any CO approached the only entrance to the shoe tier in which Epstein was housed. Okay. Now, I dispute that that's what's happening here. One, because it looks like somebody's actually wearing orange. And two, because you're going to see for many reasons why that is inconsistent with what comes next. We're going to watch it one last time, and then we're going to move on, and we got a lot more to look at.
Let's see that orange ghost. Yeah, there's no way that's not. I mean, this is clearly fucking. There's no way that's.
Because it looks almost like somebody's arm reaches out, or there's something that comes out right here that is also orange. I'm going to go through a variety of reasons why I do not believe that that's somebody carrying linens. And even the report by the Inspector General of the Department of Justice says they believe it was off.
So they didn't do any of their fucking rounds. They didn't do any of their job. According to the DOJ, they didn't do the rounds. They didn't check up on the inmates from like 4 p.m. earlier in the day. But yet some reason they're bringing them linens? What?
Officer Noel. They do not confirm that it is Officer Noel. And when we go over the details, you're going to see why that seems even flimsier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to skip ahead to the next time we see somebody come in frame. Now, I want you to keep in mind, I'm watching this with a very critical eye. You do not see anybody come back down the stairs. There's at no point during this segment that I'm going to skip to that anybody walks down that stairs. You don't see a hand, a leg, a foot, anything. We skipped about a minute ahead, and now we're going to see the next person come into frame. Now, this is Officer Noel again. Now, did you notice how she came in? Directly right to left. There was no part where she walked down the stairs. You didn't see her coming down the stairs and curve towards this. Once again, we're going to look at footage later of somebody doing that so you can compare it with this. But at no point did we see her walking down those stairs.
Well, I mean, she could have walked down the right side, but it doesn't look like she came down the stairs. It looked like she came from whatever's over here, this way.
So at this point, nobody has come back down. One person has come up, and we have not seen anybody come back down again. Now, the question is, when would they come back down? How would they get out if we didn't see them yet? They have to come out at some point. So there's really two possible explanations for if one person came up that we didn't see come back down, what happened? Well, one of them would be, as they're coming back out, maybe it's possible that off in the distance they spotted this camera or realized there was a camera here. Because obviously, if they knew that ahead of time and they were trying to stay hidden, they would not have been visible at all as they walked up those stairs. The other possibility would be that there's a time that's missing from this video, and that's when they left. We're going to skip ahead for a minute. You probably know what's coming next. So here we are at 11:58 p.m. at night. Most of you that have seen anything about this footage know that we are getting ready to come up on a missing minute. So why is this minute missing? Well, if it's missing for a reason, if there's something they didn't want you to see, it's very possible that there's some orange that reappeared during that minute, but we don't know for sure. What we do know is that at no point did we see anybody come back down after they went up at 10:40 p.m. So now what we're going to do is compare officers walking up those stairs to the person in orange that we saw earlier. Okay, as you can see right there, that's what it looks like when an officer walks up the stairs to L tier. Let's watch that again.
I almost feel like I saw some orange pop
wearing
out there.
Dark clothing.
It looks like there is some like orange that pops out here for some reason, or maybe they're escorting a fucking.
As you can see, they're very clearly
prisoner that's in
wearing
orange.
dark clothing. There's no orange. There's nothing that could possibly be mistaken for that.
They
So
were
there you go.
up
That's
to some
actually
shady
somebody
shit, bro.
leaning over. They're handing something down. So that gives you an idea of the height right there. That proportionally, I mean, this stuff is so hard to see. I know it's frustrating to try to look at. And I assure you that when we compare this to the DOJ report, you will truly understand why I've come to the conclusion that we have actually seen Jeffrey Epstein's killer on this video. So there you can see.
I mean, that's always been the kind of the conspiracy, right? Is they let one of these fucking crazies loose and we're like, yeah, go take care of Jeffrey for us. To me, there's still no way that this would have happened. They would have, without the fucking the jail guards, the guards, whatever the fuck you want to call them, being involved in some way or being aware of what was going on.
See, that's what it looks like with somebody coming down the stairs. You can see just a little bit of an outline as they're running down. See, that's what going down the stairs looks like. Now, somebody could avoid being seen if they wanted to. They'd have to be aware of this camera, and they'd have to be trying not to be seen. So sure.
Where should our federal tax dollars? I think our tax dollars should only go locally. I don't think the federal government needs tax dollars. I think if you could get the federal government so small to where it's just military, it's just fucking all the things that you need the federal government to do, like tariffs, like fucking antitrust, and you just got it down to what the original fucking mission of the federal government was. It could fund itself just off GDP growth. And yeah, maybe you could tax people that are like super, super wealthy, tax them federally. But I think our tax dollars should go locally.
It wouldn't be that hard, I think, to sneak up and down. But if somebody's not trying to be seen and they walk down, that's what it looks like. That's why I wonder, why didn't we see that from Officer Noel earlier? Let's look at the orange figure one last time before we really get into the report. So as you can see, this person walking up, after watching people leaning over, it almost looks like this person is leaning over. Like that's the head right there. And then that's the body right behind it. It almost looks like they're leaning over and looking at the desk where the officers sit.
Yeah, wait till he gets to the DOJ's statements, because
so now let's move on to the DOJ's report.
Obviously lying, yeah.
Because the DOJ's report is really why I've solidified my belief that this is in fact somebody who is not supposed to be there. Okay. Now let's look at the Office of the Inspector General of the Department of Justice's report on the night Jeffrey Epstein died. Now, I have analyzed some of this before, but what we're looking at here specifically is only going to be what's relevant to what we just saw. There's so much more in here. I have some other videos on it that I highly recommend you watch if you're interested in this. I talk about the DVR system, the security cameras, I talk about all sorts of strange inconsistencies, but all of this is going to relate back to what we just covered, and it will help you understand why I've come to the conclusion that I think that we have now seen Jeffrey Epstein's killer. So as we analyze...
I mean, yeah, I don't know if you can say that, but it's definitely... Let's see.
There's a couple of things that you've got to know to make sense of it. One is that if you see SHU written anywhere, SHU, Special Housing Unit, that's where they are. They are in the Special Housing Unit. Jeffrey Epstein is on Tier L in the Special Housing Unit. So he's on Tier L of SHU. In addition to that, they're supposed to do head counts at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 a.m., 5 a.m. Okay, and they did not do any of those. We're going to get into the quotes about that. But understand, they're supposed to do that, and then every...
Yeah, bro, it's pretty fucking convenient, ain't it? Here, let me see this plays. If it'll play. Come on, Super Chat, play. Might have to reload that one. I'm going to have to replay it, I guess. There we go. Yeah, I agree, dude. They're cheap as fuck. And it's very convenient,
Andrew
ain't it?
Wilson super chatted $5. You're telling me these are the best cameras the feds can get? Afkin 2001 Nokia camera phone.
Yeah, dude, a lot of the security camera footage is always fucked. It's like, what's the point of this grainy ass footage with no fucking audio? Like, it doesn't tell us anything most of the time. It's kind of convenient, right? You know, in a situation like this, you know, the footage you do have is grainy as fuck. And then all your DVRs all fucking quit out on you. It is pretty pathetic with how much we pay in fucking taxes that they can't even upgrade something like that, dude. Especially when you're housing like the top of the top fucking criminals.
30 minutes,
Thank you for the
they
five, bro.
should be checking on the inmates. That's just part of what they have to do. That's their job. But understanding those fundamental facts helps you better understand some of what
I think even this. See, I think this camera that we did get, the only reason we got it is somebody recorded the fucking screen. So I don't know if the DVR was working or someone was just sitting there. I don't know. But I wonder if the DVR was even working for the camera we got. Because if so, then why didn't we get the fucking DVR footage? Why did we have to get somebody fucking filming the screen of the playback?
I'm seeing in all of this. So here's a couple of quotes I'm going to read you, then we'll talk about the relevance. It's going to get a lot more interesting as we go, but I'm going to try to be thorough, so I'm going to cover everything. So at approximately 8 p.m. on August 9th, SHU inmates were locked into their cells for the night, including Epstein, who was without a cellmate. All right, so at 8 p.m., everybody was locked in their cell. So they are saying that could not have just been an inmate walking around, period. 8 o'clock, that was 10:40. A search of Epstein's cell following his death revealed Epstein had excess prison blankets, linens, and clothing in his cell. So keep in mind, there were 3 other people in this tier aside from Epstein. We're going to go into what they said happened that night and what they recall. We talked about that in another video in a different way, but it's relevant to this, so we're going to go back to it. But keep in mind, there's only 4 people up there. So if linens and clothes were taken up there, they were taken up there either for Epstein or one of the other 3 people, and he had an excess of these things in his cell, which he shouldn't have had at all. The OIG also found that SHU staff did not conduct any 30-minute rounds after about 10:40 on August 9th, and that none of the required SHU inmate counts were conducted after 4 p.m. on August 9th. So they did not do any head counts, which is a really important part of a prison. And as far as the 30...
After 4 p.m., August 9th, yeah. Dude, what the fuck were they doing? What were they doing with their time that they couldn't even do the basic fucking functions of their job?
30-minute rounds... From what they're saying is that what we saw at 10:40 was one of their rounds. That is the claim. This is one last part I'm going to show you from the intro of this. This is a 128-page document. We're not going to talk about every single page, but this is incredibly significant that this was in the introduction. Additionally, the OIG did not observe on the recorded video that Noel and Thomas being the other officer that came later, who were seated at the desk at the SHU officer's station immediately outside the area where Epstein was housed, at any time during the time period rose from their seats or approached the cell block. So they're basically saying that between 10:40 p.m. and 6:30 a.m., that at no point did they approach the cell block or rise from their seats, which is insane. They get up and move around non-stop that entire time. So the fact that it claims...
Yeah, what's up with that? Why is the DOJ report not fucking lining up with the video footage? Did they not watch the video footage? Were they just going off of what the fucking people were saying? Or are they trying to like straight up lie? But then if they're lying, why would they release the footage that proves that the DOJ report was wrong? Is this just incompetence? What the fuck is going on here, dude?
That at no point they rose from their seats is wild. But it goes to show that during the summary, it's trying to form a specific narrative. And it's saying something that is unequivocally, provably, and factually false in every sense of the word. Now, this I just highlighted because it continues to repeat and says many times throughout that Epstein had an excess of blankets, linen, and clothing in his cell.
Yeah, no shit. The guy that, supposedly just tried to off himself, and you give him, like, I think 3. I think he had 3 fucking sheets. What? I know a lot of you think he's still alive. I'm open to that possibility, but if he isn't alive, he definitely did not kill himself. In my humble opinion.
If he had that excess, and yet at the same time they felt like they needed to bring somebody extra linens or clothes, how is it that they took an inventory of that? How did they know what anybody needed? Because they weren't checking on them. So why did they take, and who did they take the blankets and the linens to?
Exactly.
Who was it that needed new clothes? There's no one.
You can't even do you can't do the basic job of doing your rounds and checking on the inmates, but yet for some reason you can bring them linens? You don't care about anything else, but the linens, oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah, this is looking like some shady shit, dude.
Indication at any point as we go through this that anybody asked for that anybody received it. Let's just keep going. So here's another quote. Additionally, the OIG participated in interviews of 15 inmates who had been housed at MCC New York during the time periods relevant to our investigation, including 3 who were housed in the L tier of the SHU on the day Epstein died. Those 3 L-tier inmates were housed in cells opposite Epstein's cell and therefore had a direct line of sight to Epstein's cell on the night of August 9th and 10th.
This is more of that bullshit. Like when they said, oh, the video proves that no one went in and out of the cell. And now this report, they're trying to say like, oh, if somebody would have went in and out of the cell, the other inmates would have seen it. No, they wouldn't have. He's going to explain this.
Now, as we're going to see, when we look at what the cells looked like, while technically true, it's not quite the nature of the way that sounds, because it looks like if you're going to have a direct look at somebody else, you actually have to go up to what appears to be a little window. So unless you're literally standing at your door, you don't have a direct line of sight.
See, I didn't even need to fucking see, a shot from the cell to know that like that's how prison cell doors work. It's a little fucking window. You got to be right up against the window to see out of it. You're not. I mean, unless you're sitting there at the door, fucking staring at Epstein's cell the whole fucking time, and then. If it was another inmate and somebody did see something, they did happen to be looking, and they saw another inmate go in there and take him out, they probably wouldn't talk. Who knows, dude? They'd probably pay him off or give him some sort of deal to not fucking talk.
To other people. It doesn't look like you could be sitting in your bunk and be looking at somebody else at the same time. You'll see for yourself when I get down to that. I'm trying to go in order. I could probably organize this a little differently, but this just makes the most sense to me. Another quote that stands out, because we're going to have more conflicting information. MCC New York SHU staff members do not conduct the 4 p.m. or 10 p.m. inmate counts. After approximately 10:40 p.m., SHU staff members do not conduct the required 30-minute rounds. Just keep in mind, they're saying that the 4 o'clock and 10 p.m. inmate counts did not happen. If you just want to understand how this is all organized right here is where the officers sit. L tier is right there. You can see this teeny little staircase right here that leads up. So look here at the stair. Now I want you to look at the way that this is set up right here. So there's one staircase leading down to M tier, and there's a staircase leading up to L tier. It's not all that wide. If you really hugged the right side of it, you could avoid being spotted on that camera. That would not be that hard to do. And then you can see where it leads up right here. Now, as I pointed out earlier, it looked like somebody either put their head out or put an arm out, maybe even leaned over, which would help them see if anybody was seated over here or if there was anybody that they weren't aware of down here. And then that leads right up into L tier. So think about this. It's claimed that Officer Noel walked up there at 10:40, but we never saw her come back down. I looked as best as I could. Unless she was avoiding being seen coming back down, we certainly didn't see her walk down. And we didn't see her walk down with linens. If the linens were spotted going up, they would be even more visible coming down because they would be in front of her. So what happened to the linens and the clothing that allegedly she took upstairs?
We know what happened.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense.
We know what happened. There's a reason Epstein had so many fucking linens. Okay.
Sense at all. And if she did give them to somebody, that's not indicated here because nobody indicates that they received any of those things. So here's what I was talking about, how to be able to see into somebody else's cell, you'd have to be standing right up there. The windows are tiny. And here you can see L tier's entry door. And there is Epstein's cell right there open. And there's the little window I was talking about. So when they say they have a direct line of sight, like I said, in theory, that's true if you were like standing up and looking through that window. But otherwise, you're not going to be able to see much of anything unless somebody passes right in front of your door. Now, this is significant because there's a very important point I'm going to talk about in a minute that I think is extremely important. And I'm not just trying to get you to sit through this video. It's just hard to go through every last thing without going in order. But there's something about tearing the sheets that's going to really stand out. I just want you to get an idea of how close this officer's station is to Epstein's room. It is not that far from his cell at all. All right, now we're getting to a section I call 73+1. This is very confusing.
I wonder how the sound travels. I wonder if those prison cells like trap the sound. Because you would think the noise of somebody trying to strangle themselves to such a degree that they were able to break their neck in 3 different places, you think they might be able to, somebody would hear that, right? I don't know, maybe they're soundproof. I would think that would not be smart, though, to make the fucking cells soundproof. But maybe they are.
Confusing. I had actually thought about doing a video on this previously, but it's so confusing, in fact, that I thought, you know what, I'm just going to skip it. But actually, it's too relevant to this, so we're going to go over it. Try to bear with me. I'm going to explain it as best as I can. So what this is relevant to is how many people are housed in each tier. They do a head count. So in other words, they count how many inmates there are. Shouldn't change that much unless somebody leaves. I'm going to read a quote from it. We'll talk about it. We'll keep going. At the time of the 10 p.m. count, all inmates in the MCC New York SHU, including Epstein, were locked in their cells for the night. All right, makes sense. Nobody's up and around after 10 p.m. At or around that time, the 2 officers assigned to the SHU were responsible for conducting the 10 p.m. stand-up count. At 10 p.m. on August 9th, the two assigned SHU officers were Noel and the material handler. Through a review and analysis of the SHU security camera video, witness statements, and BOP records, the OIG determined that MCC New York staff did not perform the 10 p.m. count in the SHU, so it was not done at 10 p.m. Nonetheless, Noel and the material handler completed and signed the 10 p.m. shoe count slip. The 10 p.m. shoe count slip listed the total number of inmates as 73 plus 1. So all of that is to say that they didn't actually do the head count, but they counted 73 inmates, and it was a plus 1 written on there. So that was...
Why wouldn't you just put 74? Why would you do 73 plus? This doesn't make any sense.
Wherever they sourced that information, that's what they wrote down. It'll all start to make more sense in a minute. The material handler verified that he and Noel signed the 10 p.m. count slip and believed that Noel called the control center with their count numbers. He did not know why the count slip listed 73 plus 1. That plus 1 was unusual. Noel told the OIG that she had conducted the shoe count alone at 10 p.m. and that the material handler signed the count slip even though he did not conduct the count with her. However, the OIG's review and analysis of the shoe security camera video conflicts with Noel's statement that she conducted the 10 p.m. count. So, and we know that she falsified this, but she...
So they just made up a number? Is that what they did? They just were like, oh, let's just say 73. You know what? How about 73 plus 1? Or did they actually do the fucking head count and there was an extra fucking person in the cell? In the fucking shoe? Dude, this is so weird, man.
She claimed, even in spite of all this, that she actually did the 10 p.m. count, which we know for a fact she didn't do. Noel said she wrote the 73 on the count slip, but she did not remember if she or someone else had written plus 1 on the count slip, and she did not know why plus 1 was on the count slip. So that seems like a pretty strange thing to forget, whether or not you had written plus 1 on the counts.
Dude, they need to get a fucking special prosecutor or something and get these fucking people, we need to question these people, like under oath. I know oath doesn't mean shit. These people have something to fucking hide. These people working on the shoe here. They're clearly they got something to hide.
Slip. Now,
in my humble opinion,
I understand why she's saying she didn't know why plus 1 was written on there, but to say she didn't remember.
Maybe she's leaving us clues. Maybe justice for Pluto. Because that's what it seems like. It almost seems like a fucking clue. 73 plus 1? Plus 1 who? Plus 1 mad strangler? Who's going to take out Epstein?
Remember whether or not she had written it on there. There needs to be a much better explanation than just she just doesn't remember. We're going to get into why 73 matters so much and the plus 1 matters so much in a minute. But I just want you to keep in mind, those are the numbers that they're sticking with. Noel said she did not know that the 10 p.m. shoe count slip, which listed 73 inmates, was inaccurate. And she could not explain why the 12 a.m. count also inaccurately listed that 73 inmates were physically present in the shoe, whereas the 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. count slips accurately listed 72 inmates in the shoe.
So it appears from... Maybe the head count was legit, and they're trying to say it wasn't legit because they actually did a proper head count, and they captured the extra fucking person who was there to kill fucking Epstein. But then they got to pretend like it was a bad... Dude, this is, again, it's just more... It's more shit that just makes you go, something's going on here. Something's going... And then, like, for the DOJ's own report to have so many flaws that are provably wrong, the things that are in the report based on the video... Yeah, guys. He definitely killed himself, right? Right? Yeah, it's just so fucking weird, dude. Something is up here, man.
Shoe. So, there were actually 72 people there, but for some reason, at both 10 o'clock and at 12 o'clock, she said there were 73. And the next count, which they falsified, but at the next count, they were actually accurate and said 72. So why is it that both 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, they had an extra inmate listed on the official documents that they wrote?
And then also 10 o'clock is when that orange figure goes up the fucking stairs. Maybe maybe she did 73 and then the secret fucking orange guy in the jumpsuit goes up. She sees it and she goes, oh, plus 1. Before maybe she knew what was, I don't know, man. Something's up with this, dude.
When questioned by the OIG about the 10 p.m. shoe count slip that listed 73 plus 1 inmates and was signed by the material handler and Noel, Senior Officer Specialer 6 told the OIG that he believed the plus 1 on the count slip was in his handwriting. So in other words, for whatever reason, this senior officer, said that he probably added the plus 1. So Senior Officer Specialist 6 said that because there was there were, in actuality, only 72 inmates in the SHU during the 10 p.m. count. He should have written 73 minus 1 on the SHU count slip rather than 73 plus 1.
Why are we doing math, dude? Why don't you just write the actual number of people? If it's 72, you write 72. If it's 73, you write 73. You don't go, 74 minus 1. Or 74 minus 10 plus 10 minus 10 plus 5 minus 5 plus 5 plus 1. It's like, don't just write the actual head count. It makes no fucking sense, dude.
So now this is part of why it gets so confusing. So there were actually 72 inmates. So basically what was done is called ghost counting, or at least according to the senior officer specialist, where you add a plus or minus 1 onto the official forms. It says ghost counting is not permitted. You can't do that. So why he's claiming that that's what he did continues to be puzzling. So not only was the 73 inaccurate, should have been 72 unless there was another inmate there at...
I think there was. I think it's accurate. And somebody fucked up and recorded that extra inmate when they weren't supposed to. And that extra inmate was the one who, took care of Jeffrey. It's possible, man. Something's up here, that's for sure.
1040. Not only was that inaccurate, he also wrote plus 1, which is a very strange mistake to make if you meant to write minus 1. The whole thing is incredibly strange. And nowhere in this does it give an adequate explanation. It just says this is what happened, and it moves on because they're just, I guess, saying mistakes happen. And that's part of the troubling part of this, is that things like that are never adequately explained. Now, here's where it starts to get even more confusing. Noelle told OIG that she and Correctional Officer 3 conducted the 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. counts in MCC New York's 10 South unit, which is the single-celled structure unit attached to the SHU, adjacent to the SHU. I do wonder if that's what room 46, if you see that door, if that's what leads to this area, the 10 South unit. So why is it that she's going to another unit to do counts and didn't do a single count in her own unit? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So she leaves the unit to go do counts elsewhere and doesn't count what she's supposed to. She doesn't even do her primary job, but is going somewhere else to do it. How does this make any sense whatsoever? So she wasn't willing to walk just a few feet to count to a head count in her own units that were literally feet away from her. And yet she walked up a flight of stairs, went through a door, went to a whole nother area to do counts elsewhere. It just doesn't add up. That just doesn't make any sense logically. And it also says that according to Noelle...
Is that true, Mateo? Is Trump really considering pardoning P. Diddy? I've heard that too, but I've been like, there's no way. There's no way he's going to fucking... What a dumbass.
No one other than the Morning Watch Operations Lieutenant and CO3 or Correctional Officer 3.
Meanwhile, no hope for Alex. No help for Alex. No helping Alex pardon from his fucking that bullshit Sandy Hook case. There's no help there. No help for that. But we're gonna pardon P. Diddy. That's hard to believe, dude. If it's true, it's just another fucking bewildering moment with Trump that just makes no sense. Did he talk about it on TV? What a fucking dumbass, dude.
As detailed later below, entered the SHU during her shift, which is once again verifiably and demonstrably false. There are many people that come and go from the SHU. And that's not just me thinking that you can see people. They come in and out through this door. There are plenty of people who walk through the SHU, not just these two. So that, once again...
Remember, there was the guy that went in a little before, and he had like the full fucking hoodie on and you couldn't see his face. It looked like he was covering his face. Looked like he had a fucking mask on, but, he could have just, been dark and not picked up by the camera because not enough lighting. Maybe that's the guy. He went in, he put on a fucking orange jumpsuit, and I don't know. Too much shit doesn't make sense, man. Too much shit does not make sense.
Again, is unequivocally not true. So here's a quote from Officer Noelle that really stands out to me, and I think you're going to see why pretty quickly. When asked which rounds she conducted on August 9th, 2019, Noelle responded, "That's hard for me to tell because I didn't conduct it every 30 minutes. It was to give out food, pick up the trays, give out toilet paper, go down. Those were the rounds I conducted." You'll notice she didn't say anything about taking linens or bringing clothes to any of the inmates that night. All she talked about was giving out food, picking up trays, giving out toilet paper. She said nothing about bringing fresh linens or bringing fresh clothes. Now, if that was the only round she actually did that night, why isn't that one of the things that was listed off? Why was it every other thing? So right here, There's no evidence whatsoever that she, in fact, actually even claimed to have taken those things up to her. They come to that conclusion, but I haven't seen any quote where she says, yes, I, in fact, carried linens up there. She certainly didn't say it right here. Noelle told the OIG that she went through each tier in the shoe at approximately 10 p.m., which, according to the OIG, is not true. They have said in plain language that did not happen at 10 p.m. And at the time, she went to Epstein's cell and saw him laying on a mattress on the floor, which she said was typical for him. Epstein asked Noelle for his medical device, so she plugged it in for him. Noelle saw that Epstein was in the cell by himself and without a cellmate, but she maintained that she did not know that Epstein was required to have a cellmate. Noelle told the OIG that she went through each tier in the shoe at approximately 10 p.m., and at the time she went to Epstein's cell and saw him laying on a mattress on the floor, which she said was typical for him. Now, according to the OIG, she didn't actually check on him at 10 p.m. Epstein asked Noelle for his medical device, so she plugged it in for him. Noelle saw that Epstein was in a cell by himself and without a cellmate, but she maintained that she did not know that Epstein was required to have a cellmate. So this whole part right here is confusing because the OIG himself has claimed there was no 10 p.m. check-in. So it's anybody's guess as to what this is.
Yeah, and the video does not show a fucking guard going up at 10 p.m. The only thing that went up at 10 p.m. was somebody that appeared to be wearing an orange jumpsuit. Unless the guard just happened to sneak in the right side of the stairs and nobody saw her. I guess that is a possibility.
He's talking about. Through a review and analysis of the shoe footage, witness statements, and...
Just to me, usually you would see them either coming down or going up because I think people have a tendency to either use the right side. Like for me, I will use the right side of the stairs because I'm right-handed. So when I go up the stairs, you might not, in that case, because you're only seeing the left side, you might not see me going up. But you got to come back down, right? So when I come back down, I definitely would be captured on the fucking camera. So the idea that they're not at least captured coming down or going up at least one way. Yes, it doesn't appear she did anything. It doesn't appear she went to the cell. The only, I don't know, man.
BOP records. The
Like there's clearly a bunch of fucking lying and obfuscating going on here. So it's hard to know what's what.
IG determined that at approximately 10:40 p.m., a CO believed to be Noelle carried linen or inmate clothing up to L tier, which was the last time any CO approached the only entrance to the shoe tier in which Epstein was housed. So they're not even sure that it was Officer Noelle that went up there. Even though they're saying that it was somebody taking up clothes, they don't even know who it was. At no point did she say that she took clothes up there. At no point did anybody later on, which we'll get to, say that they received clothes or linens at that time. So this is quite a conclusion for something that has zero evidence other than just that's the conclusion that they came to. This is not backed up by anything that we've seen. So now I'm going to read a little bit of when they found Epstein's body. Now there's one part about this that really stands out to me. I'm going to explain why in just a second. Noelle heard Thomas call out for her to retrieve the cutter, and then she heard Thomas rip something. Now she was outside of the cell, so she could hear Thomas ripping the piece of cloth that was around Epstein. But I want you to think about this. Think about how much force it takes to tear and rip something. It makes sense that she would hear that rip. So she said, hey, he ripped it. I don't even need to get a cutter because it was so obvious that something tore and something ripped. I want you to go back to how close that desk is to Epstein's cell. So if we're to understand right, her standing outside of the cell, she could hear this tiny little piece of cloth get torn as it was being pulled off of him. And yet Epstein shredding full-on sheets and clothes in order to make something.
And launching himself off of the bed so that he could hopefully... I mean, how would he have done it, right? He'd had to have been on the bed and like launch himself forward. Yeah, you would think they would have heard something. Maybe they did. And they were told, just, pretend like you didn't hear anything.
None of that was heard. Do you know how much force it takes to shred something like that? It's not easy, and it is definitely audible. So there's no way you could quietly shred something. You couldn't do it peacefully and quietly. He didn't have any way to cut it. So he would have had to have torn it, and nobody could hear that. And yet right here she's talking about the fact that it makes a sound when ripped. So here's something that I cannot explain. How is it that Epstein shredded and ripped this stuff? Nobody heard it. The inmates didn't talk about it. The COs didn't hear it. So how on earth did he shred these things and do it and be completely inaudible while doing it? Now, if somebody was going in there to do this to him, they probably would have gone in with things pre-shredded. They're not going to go in there and then shred up the sheets and clothing that are in there. So there's aspects of this that truly make no sense. And just to clarify for anybody wondering whether or not he had just done something sophisticated with a piece of cloth and didn't tear it, the photographs of Epstein's cell on August 10th, 2019 show an excess of blankets, linens, and clothing. Some of the linens had been ripped into thin strips, which were tied to the desk and bunk bed inside the cell. So they were ripped into thin strips. That would be audible. I don't know how he did it without that being heard. Just to briefly go into what the inmates saw. So inmate 5, who was also in the same tier, directly across from Epstein's cell.
I mean, if in some weird world Epstein did do it himself, it would the amount of like incompetency at this that would be displayed here. All these people should be fired. Obviously, he didn't, in my opinion, F himself, take himself out. But it's almost like that's what they want us to believe. That it was just a bunch of DEI hires that are bad at their job.
I talked about this before because of the timing of it. That he said that the last count was conducted a little bit before midnight. He doesn't say anything about anybody bringing him any sheets or anybody offering him any clothes, anything like that. Then we go into inmate 6, believe that last check was between 12:30 and 1, something like that. Once again, no report that they got anything like clothes, sheets, linens, or anything like that. Inmate 7, who doesn't have as good a view as the other ones do, also didn't say anything about being brought anything at 10:40 at night. All right, let's go ahead and stop here. Hopefully this forensic analysis.
Yeah, I know that was hard to watch because that took a lot of fucking focus. It wasn't just a quick boom, 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 boom. But I think this dude uncovered some really good questions in this video, man. I mean, there's more answers, more questions here now. And then, like, this video actually might end up giving us more information than they thought it would. They might have thought, oh, yeah. And then people watch it and go over every detail and realize, oh, it's an orange suit and it's... The cover-up people aren't even doing a good job. You guys were talking about this earlier. Ghislaine Maxwell moved to federal prison in Texas. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know. Can we get a fucking CCTV expert into her cell, into her wing of the prison, to make sure the cameras are fucking recording and pointed in the right direction? Because I'm worried about Ghislaine at this point.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We do have some breaking news for you as we continue to follow the Jeffrey Epstein saga. Putting this up on your screen right now, this post from the New York Post. We are learning the U.S. Bureau of Prisons saying today that Ghislaine Maxwell has been transferred from a Florida prison.
Can we stop saying Ghislaine? It's fucking Ghislaine, all right?
To a lower security facility in Texas to continue serving her 20-year sentence for helping sex offender Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse underage girls. Maxwell's move from FCI Tallahassee, a low security prison, to the federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas, comes a week after she met with Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche, who said he wanted to speak with her about anyone else who may have been involved in Epstein's crimes. Now, this also comes after President Trump said a bit earlier this week on Tuesday that Jeffrey Epstein, quote, stole young women who worked for the spa at Mar-a-Lago. One of those women, he said, was Virginia Giuffre, who was among Epstein's most well-known sex trafficking accusers.
By the way, let me find that Voidzilla video because, yeah, the timeline with what Trump's saying about when Virginia Giuffre was taken, it's not adding up. Like, the timeline's all fucked up. I'm gonna let Voidzilla talk about it here, because it seems like, again, just like earlier with Tucker getting his timeline wrong, it looks like Trump's timeline's a little fucked with this. Let's see, Voidzilla, sorry. Yeah.
There are more rewrites in the Epstein story than in a Harry Potter fan fiction. It seems like every time I turn around, huge parts of the story, of the official story, have been completely changed to the point that the most interesting part of the story are the rewrites, the changes. Many people, like myself, have been obsessed with the fact that the facts keep moving as we move the goalposts. First, it was the Epstein list. It existed, it's a cover-up, then it doesn't exist, now it's a hoax, then Trump's gonna give us the list. Then we have the changes to the Epstein footage story. It doesn't exist, yes it does, here's the raw footage, except no, we saved it in Premiere Pro multiple times. But now, we're getting changes to the story of the very breakup between our president and Jeffrey Epstein. Look, for years, we've been told that Trump kicked out Epstein from Mar-a-Lago because Epstein harassed the daughter of another member. This apparently all happened in 2007, and it sort of symbolized proof of how the president couldn't have been involved in this. After all, why would you kick someone out for being creepy if you were somehow involved in all of it? But now there's a news story coming from our president himself. He expounded in Scotland about the real reason that Jeffrey Epstein and him had a falling out.
He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again, and I threw him out of the place.
So there it is. Rather than a member's daughter being harassed, it seems like instead it was over a worker dispute. Immediately after this news story about workers being stolen came out, it was clarified that he's specifically talking about workers being stolen from the spa.
And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that.
Did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her.
Now this...
I don't know. It's weird when he goes, I don't know. Actually, I think she worked at the spa. Yeah. He stole her. Oh, so you do know.
This is a remarkable change in our story because Virginia Giuffre is one of the lead accusers of Jeffrey Epstein. Everyone knew she was recruited at Mar-a-Lago. Now Trump is saying he not only knew about it, this is one of the reasons that he kicked out Epstein, apparently. People complained about Epstein at the time.
Other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that.
Now, the reason this matters is because it completely changes our timeline. Remember, we had heard that he kicked Epstein out for being a creep in 2007. Now, this places us way over in 2000 when we're first hearing complaints from the spa, because Virginia Giuffre, there's a very clear timeline from court documents that she was terminated in 2000 when she would have been a minor. She met Ghislaine Maxwell, not Epstein, but it's also a problem for when everything happened, because it's not until 2002 then there's the famous quote from Donald Trump about Jeffrey Epstein saying, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy, he's very fun to be with. It's even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do. Many of them are on the younger side. So if he's already had a falling out over stolen workers, specifically a stolen worker who was later trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, if he had heard complaints about this, if he knew about this, and in 2002 he makes this claim, that's a real problem. Whereas previously, his kicking out and finding out about this apparent harassment of Mar-a-Lago clients, it doesn't happen until 2007. Now we're hearing it's been known about since 2000. So this presents a very fine line that the president has to walk in terms of...
People forget that, like, it's not easy to lie anymore. People have all the receipts of everything you fucking ever said, dude. Yeah, so this is, again, it's a little weird. A little weird.
What he knew when, because obviously you have to stick to your story that you kicked him out for being a creep, right? That's what was originally said. In fact, it's even been repeated by the White House. Stephen Chung in a statement claims the fact is that the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep. So that was the stated reason, but you can't know too much in 2000. Otherwise, it makes you look horrible when you compliment him for enjoying beautiful women. Because if you knew he was a creep and you didn't do anything about it, that's a problem. So when asked to explain this discrepancy, well, you said he was kicked out for being a creep, then you said you did it because he was stealing your employees. Which is it? At first, we hear that they are related incidents.
President, you said yesterday your falling out with Jeffrey Epstein was over him taking some of the workers from your business. But your administration in the past said that you threw him out because he was a creep. So can you explain that discrepancy?
Well, maybe they're the same thing. It's sort of a little bit of the same thing.
So there you see, he's saying they're related. Stealing the employees was related to him being a creep. So you knew something, but then later he kind of says, well, I didn't know what he was using these stolen employees for.
At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know.
So the story just keeps changing. I mean, it was 2007 that he kicked him out and closed his membership. Then it's 2000 when Virginia Giuffre was stolen because somehow that was creepy, but he didn't know what was actually happening. So why?
If I remember right, didn't he say that he kicked out that he actually warned Epstein not to do it, and that Epstein kept doing it, and then that's when he was kicked out, if I remember right.
Why is it actually creepy that your employee gets stolen? That happens all over the time in companies everywhere. In fact, once again, the White House is adjusting their story, saying that it's just the taking of employees that is creepy. Quote, taking employees is most definitely creepy. How? If you don't know what's happening with this spa employee, how is it weird? Why are they saying, oh, we didn't know anything, but we knew at the time it was creepy? I don't know. It's honestly insane.
Yeah, I had to play this one because he's making a good point here, man. It's not lining up. It's not adding up. Again, like always. Ah, man. What a terrible time, dude. What a terrible time. We got a bunch of people getting canceled, finding out Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes are both probably feds. And Trump probably, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's like now fucking Epstein was like recruiting these fucking young girls from Mar-a-Lago. I mean, can it look any worse? Can it possibly look any worse? I don't think it can. I don't think it can. Ah, what a day, boys. Happy Friday, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to be back tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a stream tomorrow. We'll see. I think I still got things I didn't talk about today I can carry over for tomorrow. So have a wonderful night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 9. If not tomorrow, for some reason I do end up having to take tomorrow off, I'll be here Sunday for sure. But look out for the show. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful Friday night, and we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks, everybody, for the support, the thumbs up. We got to 100. What did we get to? That was 108. 103. All right. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. All right, y'all. Peace out. Thank you so much. Smash a thumbs up on the way out if you can. And have a wonderful night. Take care, everybody. Let me find the outro.
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.